Hello everyone, my name is Royston Alvares. I'm from E2E mentorship program, and in this video I'll be teaching you about some basics of routing in React. Let's get started. So what is routing? Routing in React typically involves using a library called React Router, which allows you to manage navigations and rendering of components based on the URL. Okay, so in general it is like if you want to navigate from one page to another without reloading it, we use the concept called routers. First, let me show you the application that I've built. Okay, if you see here, there is app.js, and I've created four components, that is header, which includes heading called logo and three list items, home, about, contact. Then comes other three components, that is home, about, contact. Okay, let me start my project. npm start. Okay, if you see now, you can see a navigation where there is a title called logo and three list items, home, about, contact. I'm not going to teach you CSS what I've used in my code, but I will attach the code in the description of the video. So please feel free to go through that and use the CSS and modify it however you want. Right now, if I hover on logo, it changes the color. Same thing on home, about, and contact. But nothing will happen if I click on any of these uh, items. Okay, so now I want to display something whenever I click this home, about, or contact. So in this case, I'm just gonna show you what is the content of home, about, and contact. Okay, let me just uncomment all this. Okay, so now if you see, this thing should be displayed in my home content whenever I click on home. Then on about section, I need to display this about, and on contact, I'll be displaying this contact section. Right now, all the three components are being displayed in one page. Okay, this is normal way of doing, but I don't want all the information to be displayed in a single page. I want it to be displayed separately. So by using the concept of routing, we'll be doing that. So let me just remove all this. Okay, all right. In order to use routing in your project, you need to install a library called React Router DOM. So you can do that by typing the command npm install React Router DOM. Okay, so this will install the React Router DOM library in your project. So once you have installed this library, you can import the components of that library. The components provided by this library are browser router, routes, route, link, and some other. Okay, so we need these components in order to achieve routing. All right, let's start by importing these components. Import browser router, then we need routes and route. Okay, so now inside the app component, we'll start by using browser router. Okay, inside browser router, I'll open another component, that is routes. Okay, this I can say that it is a recommended approach. You have to start by using browser router, which is the top level component that wraps around the entire React application. Then comes the routes component. This serves as a container for defining routes within your application. These features were introduced in React Router version 6, and although it is not a mandatory way of writing the routes by using first browser router then routes, it is recommended so that your code looks clean. Okay, now inside routes we'll be mentioning the path or the routes to each element. So we need to use the component route. Okay. Inside route, there is a property called paths where you can mention the path. Okay, so for I'll just put a forward slash here and close the route. this is the path. Forward slash is a path, and when we put forward slash, by default we need to render the home component. Okay, so to do that, there is one more property called component. Okay, so inside component you just have to mention home. Okay, when I click, it automatically imported the home component here. If it doesn't, you will have to manually import it. Okay, now let's see how my code looks. Let me just start the project. Npm start. Okay, so now if I open my project, by default it will open on routing. Okay, so because this is a default path, this is how you do it. Okay, so let me also mention other two routes. Route path equal to, now here I want to open about section. Okay, so I'll mention the path as about. You can mention anything you want here in this section, okay, where I've mentioned about, but see that you give an appropriate name according to your component. Don't give some different name. Try to give a similar name. Okay, so component that should be opened is about, right? Okay, so let me close this route. Let me open one more. So here path will be contact, and this will open the contact component. Okay, fine. So now if I go to the page, if I type about here, it is going to display the about component. And same way if I put contact, sorry, I've put contact here. Contact. Okay, so if I go to contact, it will display the contact page. All right. Okay. So now if you see, I'm manually typing all these routes inside the address bar, but I don't want to do that. I want to display it when I click this list items, that is home, about, contact. I want to navigate to those particular components. And also if you see, the header component was missed out. So I'm just gonna put it here. Okay. Just delete this. Okay. Now if you see, if I change anything here, header will remain intact. So let me go to the default home page. Okay. And if I put about, goes to about page. But I don't want to just type here. I want to go to about page when I click here. Okay. So to do that, there is one more component called link, which is provided by the React Router DOM. So inside header section where I've put the names like home, about, and contact, I'll be using that link component to route to a different page. So let me put link here. Okay. So let me just remove home from here. Paste. Okay. So link to, by default, I want, when I click on home, I want the main page to be displayed. So I have mentioned this forward slash. Okay. Okay. We need to import the link component from React Router DOM. Import link from React Router DOM. Okay. So we'll be doing the same thing to about as well. Okay. Just put it to this as well. Okay. So when I click on about, I want it to redirect to the about component. So I'll put about here, sorry, slash about. And for contact, I want it to redirect to the contact component. So forward slash. See that you're mentioning the same names which are mentioned in the main routes. That is this part. Okay. Don't change the name of these components. If you change the name here, it won't work properly. So now let's check the page. So here if you see, okay, the CSS is messed up. Anyway, if I click on home, you can see it is showing the home page. Then if I click on about, it goes to about, and if I click on contact, it goes to contact page. Okay. So let me also change the style of the list item so that it looks good. So let me just mention style, where I'll put color as inherit, as I've already defined it in the CSS, and I don't want any text decoration. Okay, so I'll set it to none. Okay. If you see here now, it is giving the CSS which I had previously written. So let's do the same thing to all the three items. I'll just copy this code. Okay, so now if you go to this section, all the three list items, that is home, contact, and about, have the CSS which I had written earlier. Okay, so now if I click on logo again, I want it to go back to the home page again. So you can do the same thing here just by adding the link. Okay, so link, I'll put to mention the paths, that is the forward slash default paths. Okay. Half, let me just put a style to it as well. I'll just copy from this previous link. So what does this link do? If you know the anchor tag, it behaves the same, but if you put an anchor tag here, it's gonna reload your page. But when it comes to link component, it doesn't reload your page. That's why we use it. Okay, so you don't see any reloading here. Okay, so if I click on logo or home, it should still remain on the home page. When I click on about, it should go to about, and when I click on contact, it should go to the contact page. So that's all about the basics of routing. Hope you guys liked the video. Thank you for watching.